Earlier, I mentioned that After Effects is not only a 2D application, but also a 3D application in that you can move around and navigate in 3D space. So what I want to talk to you about in this lesson is exactly how to do that. But the first thing we need to do is to turn this 2D layer into 3D mode. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here by my timeline. I'm going to toggle the switches and modes so I can see the option to turn this into a 3D layer. So I'm going to enable this layer right here by putting a little cube right there. Automatically, you'll see a widget appear inside of the interface that has 3 colors. So in order to see that more clearly, I'm going to expand this over a little bit. And I'm going to go to where it says Active Camera in my comp pane. And I'm going to choose Custom View 1. What that does is it will give us a different view of our comp from a 3D perspective. Now, as you can see here, we have this widget. And when I hover my mouse over the blue axis, you see that it says Z. Z is near and far. So the closer something is to you, of course, it's closer to you in the Z axis. If I go ahead and change my views here to 2 views, horizontal, I'm going to click on this view here. And I'm going to make this view my active camera. I'll come back over here again and watch this. I'll go ahead and push it further along the Z axis and it moves further away from our eye. Now this is what our audience is going to see. In this same section, I'm going to talk about how you can use the camera and you can actually animate that camera or this object itself to move near and far. Now the red arrow is the X axis. That's the floor. So if we move along the X, we're moving left or right. That's it. Left or right along the Z axis. And we can take a look at our info pane to see exactly where the element is at the moment. So if I move this guy all the way over here, you see that we are now in the negative X. And when I come back over here, I cross over to the positive. The same thing for Z. All right, so we are now in negative as we get closer. Take a look right down here and right here. And when we go further, we are going into positive. Now up and down is the Y axis. So I move it up and down. All right, so once again, we have positive and negative values. The good news about these different axes here is that they pretty much correspond with other 3D applications. So if you're going to use Modo or Lightwave or Maya, you'll be familiar with this term when you get there because you move your 3D models around in space the same way. Now, when we get to the camera section, you're going to notice that we are not going to be moving our elements as much as we are moving the camera. Now, the camera represents us, so we'll be moving around in 3D space. But once again, I'll get to that later on. So just to reiterate, we're moving around in X, Y, and Z. And don't forget, you can also twirl these guys open down here. So I'll go ahead and twirl position open. And we see we have these guys right here as well. So I can scrub the hot text. And I'm moving along the X for the first set of numbers. The second set is Y. And of course, the third is the Z axis. So you can either use the widget or you can use the hot text.